Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today on the channel, I have Zach from Orlando, Florida, with me here in Amman, Jordan. We're both studying Arabic together, and we just want to hear a little bit about his story, why he's here, and discuss how we both came to study Arabic and what's come along with all of that. So, welcome, Zach. Thanks for being on.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for inviting me. It's pretty cool here.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. So just tell us, what are you doing here? Why are you studying Arabic? And how's it been for you in Jordan so far?
Yeah, man. So I was working in Orlando. I grew up in Orlando, Florida my entire life. And it just got to the point where I was a little bit tired of the hustle and bustle in Orlando. And I had a pretty serious conversation with my father about like moving forward in life and just focusing on things a little bit more important than work. And I decided to roll the dice with the help of my dad and come
Nice.
to Orlando, Florida to study Arabic. Yeah.
That's a nice little roll of the dice.
Yeah.
So, how's Arabic been?
Considering like 7 months ago, like having nothing with the language till now, I'm pretty happy with uh, I'm pretty happy with the results for sure. It's definitely not an easy language to learn, but as you know,
Absolutely. Yeah. So they say it takes about 2,200 hours to get to like a level of proficiency, and
I think I'm about 400 in.
There
You
you
know
go.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
So, yeah, man, it's like great when you feel like you're making progress and like things are clicking, and then you just feel like you get the taxi with the taxi driver, and you're like,
Absolutely.
"What did you say?"
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, man. Yeah, I feel you on that. So, yeah. So, you mentioned just like having this serious conversation with your father, and I think a lot of young people, and even people in their 20s, and maybe even after that, are, in the grind, in the hustle in America, and they're in the corporate scene, and they kind of just feel like they don't know what to do. They don't know why they're doing it. So, you're only 24, right?
24, yeah.
So, this is a great opportunity to inspire some other people and tell them like a little bit, just like what made you take that leap. You pulled the trigger real quick. I could say for myself, probably when I was your age, I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
It took me 5 years to do it.
Yeah.
Talk us through that process of, just saying, all right, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go for this. I want to learn Arabic. And what was it? What inspired you to learn Arabic? Was it connecting with the roots, with the deen, with your future? What was it about Arabic that?
It was definitely also a big part of it was also like connecting with Islam on a deeper level, just because of the language Arabic. But also a big factor was my dad's from Jordan. My dad's first language is Arabic, and I'm 24 years old. I never spoke a full sentence in Arabic with my dad. So it was also kind of like a big thing to, as kind of like my dad's first son, to be able to speak Arabic with my father, because that is his first language and that's the language that he loves speaking. You know what I mean? So that was definitely pretty big. And also just getting I'm not sure why, probably many reasons, but I just got a little tired of living in America. I knew there was something different outside of the States. And my family's from Jordan. I'm from here. So that was a big reason to really connect with my dad, with his language, and also, of course, with the deen, with Islam.
Absolutely, yeah. So cultural, religious, especially with the family, and nice. So was quitting the job as much about getting out of corporate as it was learning Arabic? What was the determining factors for you?
I didn't. I studied at university for like 2 years, and then this was around COVID time. COVID had peaked, and I had no interest in continuing my study at university. And I had spoke with my father about this, and he was pretty supportive about it. And I got a job, kind of just any job that would take me in that was like full time or decent pay, anything like this. And I had ended up working the job for almost 2 years, and then my dad had prior to us making the agreement about me coming to Jordan, he wasn't really happy with my job because it was just a little bit too comfortable. A lot of people get this job, the pay is just good enough to where oh, I've been working here for 20 years. My dad didn't want that for me. And maybe he saw something that I didn't, like me being comfortable. The pay was just okay enough living in the city that I grew up in. So he had suggested, like, let's let's start everything new. Like quit
Mm.
your job, come to Jordan. I will support you. You will live with your uncles and
Mm.
your cousins, and that sounded great.
Yeah,
Sounded great at the time, and it's great now. You know what I mean?
nice. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, how much did that mean having that support, especially from like within the
A
house? And
lot,
yeah.
a lot. You know, because like 23, 24 years old, living in America. All my friends are studying at the same time working.
Mm.
So, you know, like my mom had a little bit of pushback. She was like, Zach, you know, this is a good job. You know, it's
Mm.
interesting, like the difference between my dad, because he grew up in the Middle East, and my mom, who is completely American. Her like outlook on the situation was entirely different than my father's. She was more concerned about, oh, Zach, you're quitting a good job.
Mm.
And my dad was more, leave this job, come to Jordan, like get new experience, learn a new language. And the 6, 7 months that I've been studying Arabic, I've like strained my brain more than I ever did in a classroom.
Well, I feel you on
You
that
know what I mean?
100%.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, sometimes we need those food days, huh?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Zach will come into class with food, mashallah. He's always bringing us the Jordanian hospitality,
Hey, man.
and I'm learning from him, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, your brain just gets strained, and I think Arabic actually uses both sides of your brain. Actually,
Sure.
I learned that, but so yeah, a lot of people have those jobs where they're making just enough, and it's hard to quit. It's a good amount of money, but there's something inside that's just not aligning, and
Right.
there's something that's not clicking. Do you miss it? The job?
No, not at all.
How do you feel about your decision now, almost a year later?
I've said this like I've said this so many times since being here, quitting my job, leaving America, coming to Jordan, getting
Mm.
this experience by far has been the coolest thing I've ever done.
Mm.
Like
Wow.
ever in my life. You know what I mean? I've done a lot of like interesting things, but like taking that leap of faith and coming
Mm.
here has by far been the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, and you live next to Disney. That's people's dream.
Yeah, 30 minutes, like 20, 30 minutes away from Disney and Universal, an hour away from the beach, you know,
Mm.
but
Wow. So what? That's I mean, that's a big statement.
yeah.
That's a big statement. Tell us what was some of the biggest impacts in your life, the biggest things that happened to you here that has impacted this perspective.
Yeah, man. So when I grew up in America, I wasn't that vocal with my family overseas in Jordan. They were always here, and you know, like you looking back now, like always getting friend requests on Facebook or on
Mm.
Instagram from people who share the same last name as me, but I wasn't familiar with them. To be honest, back then I wasn't interested.
Mm.
My whole life was here. I mean, was over there in America. All my friends spoke English, and
Mm.
my school and music and everything was just in America. I wasn't too interested in knowing my family over here until I came here. That was probably the biggest blessing because
Mm.
I have a unit of a family over here, and they're all
Mashallah.
amazing. So
So family connections,
yeah,
relationships. I mean,
being able, sorry, but you know,
yeah,
being able to
please.
walk down the same streets as my dad and my uncles did, and
Mm.
like being able to point over here and hearing stories about when my dad
Mm.
was young,
Mm.
and you know, he's my father, so just being able to connect with like his childhood on a deeper level.
Yeah, that's actually big.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of us, children of immigrant parents to America, especially as Arabs, we don't understand our parents that well in some ways. We don't understand their struggle, their plight, what brought them to America, what their history is in their country. So you're talking about seeing those same streets
Yeah.
and connecting with his brothers and then their families.
And you know, man, the culture's different in Arab countries with like how close people are to their families. Like I'm sure you know, growing up in America, you know, I always heard people having problems with their family, or they couldn't wait to get out of the house and never
Mm,
see their family again. In this culture, it just doesn't happen.
mm.
You know, it just seems like relationships are a lot more healthy. I mean,
So it's not 18 years old and you're just a friend now.
right. Well, even like on the like parental side of things, like I know people that came from families in America where parents were like, "Well, yeah, I'm just no longer financially responsible for my kid after 18. Like
Mm.
they can leave."
Oh, wow.
Here,
Mm.
you stay until you get married, or you stay until you
Mm.
get your own house, and you know, like you're always there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like, why is that important? Why is it important to live with your parents until you get married? Why not go out and live by yourself and
You
make
know,
for
it's
your
like,
own.
I think there's this misconception. It's like when you turn 18, you know everything and
Mm,
you're like the most adult version of yourself. That's what 18-year-olds think, you know?
mm,
And I think a lot of, I made a lot of dumb decisions as well, but, living with your parents, number one, you get to spend quality time with your parents because they're not going to be there
mm.
like forever. Allahu Alam, but they're not going to be there forever. So just kind of soaking in every single minute you can with them helps you not regret certain things when you're older.
Mm.
Not only that, they're your protectors. You might do something that's not going to be healthy for you, and they're the wall that stops you from like
Mm.
committing those things. So
Mm. Word. Yeah, good. So, what did people think you wanted to leave America? Most people want to go to America, and you left America in your 20s. It's the opposite. So, what did the people around you think? And did that impact you?
no, no, their opinions didn't matter to me.
Mm.
My mom was completely okay with the idea. Her only thing was quitting a decent job. But I
Mm.
mean, like when she knew I was like fully committed to doing that, she ultimately, a long time ago married a Jordanian. She's been to Jordan before. And she knows the people that I'm with. But like from like colleagues and acquaintances that I had, I'm sure unfortunately, the way that they look at this part of the world,
Mm.
this region, was like, oh my God, are you going to be okay?
Mm.
What's happening over there? Because it's so close to Palestine and all like the uh, super unfortunate things happening over there. They think Jordan's like that as well, or
Mm.
maybe they think Daesh,
Oh wow.
ISIS.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Wow.
unfortunately, but that's like, that's unfortunately the outlook a lot of people have over here.
Yeah, I mean, when I even went for Umrah last year, my some of my relatives were worried, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know how far Saudi Arabia is, from Philistine. Like, are you worried about, the attacks in Chicago from
Right.
Pennsylvania?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So then, what was it like coming here? What was it like getting off the airplane for the first time and
Man,
being in Jordan?
I was nervous because I knew my family was so big over here
Mm,
and I just had no contact with them when I was growing up. And that was my fault to no contact. I was just not at the time, for whatever reason, uninterested on this part of the world. But when I came here, super humbling experience because prior to coming here, I only knew American culture.
mm.
Like an example, when I got off of the plane, all my cousins were there to pick it, like to pick me and my dad up,
Wow.
and I went to go in for a handshake. They slapped my hand and gave me hugs, and and
Oh man.
I never seen them before in my life. But that's
Mm.
just that's a cultural
Wow.
difference. You know what I mean? Like as the American guy coming off of the plane, giving a handshake, that's what we do in
Right.
America. But here, with family, it's just a lot more.
Mm.
It's just a deeper connection.
Just embraced you. Just
Absolutely.
brought you in. Wow. So your first impression was just the
It was a
hospitality of the
humbling
family.
experience.
Oh, really?
I had no idea what to expect,
Mm.
which is also like pretty scary sometimes when you go. I mean, it's better, but like going into things with no expectations or maybe the wrong expectation, you know what
Mm.
I mean? But no, it was a humbling experience.
Sure.
And that's why I'm here. That's
Mm.
why I had no problem quitting my job. I knew what I was coming,
Oh, okay.
where I was going when I quit.
What do you tell? Like you're saying, it's a humbling experience.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the shift there? I'm trying to understand that.
Like my mom's side of the family is so different than my dad's side of the family because my mom's side of the family is they're completely American.
Mm.
So when I came here, just the reason why I say it's humbling is because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I was going to be received.
Mm.
Like I am someone who never been to Jordan, going into a house full of people,
Mm.
and I just didn't know how I was going to be received. And I was received way better than I ever could have thought.
I
That's why I
see.
say it's humbling.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Mashallah. Yeah.
But it's different because you came here alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I did.
You came here by yourself. That's crazy. Like you know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
crazy in a bad way, but like
Sure.
that's a really big leap of faith.
Yeah. I guess.
And convincing your parents and things like that because you're going by yourself. It's different.
Yeah. I think that is. It wasn't a concern for me for some reason. I don't know why, but it was for my parents. But thankfully, one of my aunts, her family is actually from Jordan.
Okay, cool.
So my father's brother, his wife is from Jordan, and she all has family here. So I got received by, one of the members of
Okay,
their
yeah.
family, and I also wasn't expecting it. I
Yeah.
came in for a retreat actually, so I was running late for the retreat, but he's like, "You have no choice. You're my hostage now.
Right,
Like,
right.
I got you for the next few hours." And so you kind of just go with the flow, and they've been nothing but amazing to me. And yeah, yeah, you just I mean, I lived by myself for about 5 years. I had a roommate for the last 2 years, but you get used to being on your own, and the family kind of you get then you have to like break down those barriers to then have the family life, and it's great. You kind of see what I saw, what I was missing in America. With just living by myself.
Right. But even the
So
way that you navigate through people here, I'm sure you agree, like the way that just even strangers on the street here
mm,
versus strangers in America, the way that, they treat you and
mm,
things like that. That was also super humbling. Coming from America,
yeah,
you kind of stay in your own lane, you know. Yeah, people say hi to each other and something like that, but I mean that's really about it. Here, I mean, you have people that have nothing that
mm,
like if you need something, they'll try to give you
yeah.
whatever they have.
Absolutely, and you get stopped on the street by people asking you for different things, and it's very normal. And that did surprise me.
We're
But
walking
yeah,
around, salamu alaikum, salamu
yeah,
alaikum.
that's
Everyone, wa
beautiful.
alaikum salam.
Yeah,
That's something that you don't see in America.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I think in America, America's big as it is, and we just grow up thinking America is the world, and
Yeah,
that if you go from Florida to Georgia, you're making a big trip,
right.
or you go to California, it's like this is a big holiday. So going to the other side of the world is just not really considered as much. But you come here, and I'm living on just a random street, not in a tourist area, and you're here.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, this is also the part of the world.
yeah.
I mean,
It's a
honestly,
beautiful part of the world too.
it is. It is absolutely. And yeah, Jordan's a beautiful country, and yeah,
This region, Jordan, Palestine, Lebanon, Syria. You
the
know what
Lad
I mean?
Hashem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're close to Mecca and Medina, and not far from all of Europe. It's interesting to think, has it made you consider, like, I know you have some plans for your future, but has it tempted you to want to live here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, inshallah, Allahu alam, but I don't see a future for myself without a house here or
Mm,
like my kids growing up here or
mashallah.
something like that.
Wow.
I think it's better.
Mm,
I think it's better. We
fair,
grew up in
fair enough.
America. I think I don't hate America, not at all. I love America for what it could be. What it is now is, it is what it is. But coming here, it's like kind of filling spaces for things that we're missing in the States,
Mm,
especially with our deen and also with our culture being like your father's Arab, my father's Arab. I heard all these amazing things and being able to see it actually now from my own eyes after you know spending my entire life in America. All these new experiences are something that are like really wanting me to like give my children that same thing. You know what I
mm.
mean? Inshallah, when I have
Wow,
them.
that's a lot for you. That's for me. That's like a big statement after just one year. But yeah, mashallah. That's I feel you in terms of like it's just I feel like there's this pull towards being in America and living in America. But if you don't know anything else, that's what you want to do.
Right.
But when you see something else, it makes you really reconsider,
Yeah.
and it's really makes you just wonder like why America. You know.
A lot of people are chasing a career over there. That's another
Mm.
reason why I think
Sure.
people
And we
are.
need jobs. We
Yeah.
need to have jobs. We need to
Sure. I
be
mean,
good, productive members of society.
absolutely.
But can that be done in other places? That's
Yeah.
that's the question. So you feel like you're seeing that here,
Yeah.
and also especially with the upbringing, with family, and potentially having kids in a country like Jordan, as opposed to anywhere in America, maybe
Sure.
if Orlando, for instance.
Like one of the biggest things, like with the difference between like Jordan and America, is obviously the economy. So the economy here is not that strong when you compare it, of course, to the States.
Mm,
So a lot of people know, like, a lot of people are okay with the fact that, okay, I have a job that can pay my bills and support my family. Like, that's good enough for me. Like, in America, people are really chasing dollars. And I don't know about you, but like with me, no one was really happy at my job.
Mm.
They were happy on every 2 weeks when a paycheck, when they got paid, but no one's really happy over there.
Mm.
I mean, I'm speaking my own experience. I don't know about you. I know you were working, and I don't know how the people around you felt, but from what I remember, because it wasn't that long ago, no one
Mm.
was happy to show up to work.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that seems to be a common sentiment right now in America in general. I mean, yeah, from my company, it was a good balance, and but definitely there was that feeling of like I feel like I need to be here or I have to be here, other than like I want to be here. And there were some all-star co-workers, but I definitely think at least for myself, like just living from a place of stress,
Mhm.
and just working in stress, recovering in stress from stress, and then going back to stress day in day out.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Since quitting your job and coming here, do you feel like because like for me, this is the most like stress-free I've been.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Here it's
yeah.
just I mean, of course, we're not working over here. Our job is learning this language.
Yeah.
But that is I mean, I consider that a job, you know what I mean?
I
It
mean,
is
it's
pretty pretty
full-time
intense.
mental capacity.
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
But like, here it's like eat, hang out with good people,
Mm,
go to the masjid, go to school, learn Arabic, go back to bed. Like it's pretty I'm having a blast. When I came here, it was a lot of
mm,
stress, off of my
mm.
shoulders.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can echo that, but yeah, I mean, that says a lot right there. So you just feel like there's been a big shift in dynamic, right?
Mhm.
So yeah. I mean, for me, it's similar. Honestly, Arabic is a lot of work.
Yeah, it is, but it's pretty fulfilling though.
It's very fulfilling. That's very fulfilling. It's a big blessing. I mean, it's probably one of the hardest things I've done in the last like 10 years. I think it's been more of a challenge than even my university, to be honest.
Right. Well, your university experience was a lot more than mine, but like even my 2 years in
Mm,
studying was cakewalk
mm,
compared to learning this. But
yeah.
when I came in June, spoke nothing.
Mm,
Words,
yeah.
words, understood nothing. And
Right.
now,
Now you're able to converse with your teachers.
right, being
Yeah.
able to go home. Oh, I
Mm,
understand what's being said around me,
mm,
or even if the sentence isn't like 100% correct and it's broken, like just being able to throw words out of my mouth in a different
mm,
language, like I would have thought that was impossible
mm.
2 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So you're being able to see that. Yeah. I mean, and that's where I would say it's the hardest thing I've done, but the most fulfilling and
Yeah.
the biggest challenge I've taken on. But it's also because I want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's another big difference is like wanting to do it versus like feeling like this is what everybody's doing. I remember I didn't understand why people took gap years after high school until now.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
and I think especially after college, I probably understood a little bit more. But now it's like, oh, like imagine if this was my gap year. I
Yeah.
feel like I would have been going back to America with a lot more focus and a lot more understanding of life and purpose and what I want to do. And like you said, the balance here with family and learning, going to the masjid and going to bed, daffy,
Right.
just,
Yeah, absolutely.
hadi.
And dude, and then like the things that we're doing now, it's gonna be like a memory that's gonna be stuck with us until we
Mm,
go.
mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
How many
absolutely.
things have you done that you don't remember? I've done so many of the like
Mm,
things like that, but coming to Jordan and living here and I mean generating like real memories that like
mm,
inshallah when I have kids like things I can tell them,
inshallah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's touch on that a little bit. Like, yeah, what are you gonna take from this experience? I'm sure it's still developing, but what's been here
So
for
far, the
you?
only thing that I've taken is that I love it here, and like I really do intend on like building a foundation of like a life here.
Mm.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so it's like wanting to share that with
Absolutely,
the people that are in your future.
for sure.
More, very nice.
Especially, I intend on having kids. Like they need to see this.
Mm,
They need to see Jordan. I'm Jordanian. My father's from here. Like I claim that part of me. My kids need to as well because
mm,
like looking back, that's something that I missed out on growing up, and
mm,
that's probably why I'm clinging to it so much now.
I mean, that's identity, right? So especially for us Muslim Americans, growing up in America, especially post 9/11 world, like what? Yeah, like it sounds like you're touching on your identity
Absolutely.
is needing to be here and like experience this?
It's interesting because it's like, your dad is from Syria, my dad is from Jordan. I grew up in, I'll use myself like as an example. My dad's first language was Arabic. He went to America to pursue a better life for himself and for the family that he wanted. I'm his first son.
Mm,
Prior to coming here, I didn't speak Arabic. So, okay, my dad's first language is Arabic. He's Arab. He had me, his first son, who was born in America. If I had no interest in learning this language or connecting with where I come from, by the time I have kids, that entire identity from my father is gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then 2 generations is completely lost.
Arabic. And the culture.
Arabic and the culture and understanding where you come from. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they lose their family identity just after spending some time in America and having no interest in learning about it, which is pretty
Connecting
unfortunate.
with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like the people I know that are most connected to their culture went back home like almost every summer,
Yeah.
or every couple of years,
Right.
and or they've built their whole family like unit in America,
Sure.
and so they have all those cousins and uncles and aunts around them in America. But yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty scary to think about it.
What
The fact that like
can be lost.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine like being my father and like having a son and then like, oh, like my son doesn't care about where I come from. My son doesn't speak my language. Like that's pretty depressing. You know what I'm saying? Especially like Arabs here, we're so like they're so
proud of their culture.
yeah,
and
absolutely.
heritage.
Very proud of their culture and proud of their heritage. So to like watch your son or to watch your children just like lose that. And yeah, it's definitely pretty depressing, I'd imagine.
I feel that. Yeah, I feel that absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think speaking a little Arabic I have with my father, he lights up. So
Right,
it's
yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like that's cool.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's cool. I feel like I'm able to connect on a deeper level because Arabic, you need to speak Arabic to translate Arabic.
Yeah, absolutely.
To translate that message.
Yeah.
It's not the same in English.
That's a poetic language too, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't
absolutely.
English doesn't do it justice when you translate it.
Yeah, and maybe our parents listen to Juha stories and they're growing up too.
Yeah, man. You know what? After doing the Juha stories and Shababik, it was a cartoon back in the day.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was a cartoon.
Bro, Juha is
That's pretty legit. It's pretty cool.
Mishkelji
Yeah,
number one.
well, yeah.
Literally,
But yeah, man,
nice.
it's cool, and I'm definitely like proud of myself. I wasn't proud of myself when I got a job. Anyone can get a job. Anyone can show up to work. I wasn't really doing anything. Coming here, attempting to learn this language, connecting with a part of myself that was lost for my entire childhood has been the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done. It
Mashallah.
means more to me than any, my opinion, any university degree or any job that I could be working right now. Like this is cool. And money's always going to be there. Money's not going anywhere in America. Taking time away from that and coming here and seeing new things and being around new people and learning this language, which I think is the most beautiful language in the world, is by far and that's something I intend on passing down too.
Inshallah. Yeah, absolutely.
inshallah.
Same here. So yeah, that's big. So what do you feel like you mentioned before having that conversation with your father, but like if you think about other people in your place a year ago or 2 years ago when you started these conversations, like what's going to help somebody that might be thinking like, I want to do this. I don't know if it's Jordan or somewhere else, or if it's whatever their home country is, or if it's Arabic for the deen and for that culture. Like what advice would you give somebody to say like, this is the steps you need to take to open this door?
My personal opinion, I think it's one step, and I just think you have to go for it. You know what I mean? Like it's scary quitting a job and like, losing that income coming in every week or 2 weeks or every month. But I just feel like no risk without reward. And it is a risk quitting your job. My situation is a lot more different because, alhamdulillah, my father, he's supporting me financially as well as my mother. And so maybe it's a little bit easier for me. But the biggest thing was just, doing it.
So how did you know? How did you know?
How did I know I wanted to?
How did you know you got to the point where you said, I'm going to do it?
Oh, I don't know. Not sure. My dad My dad gave me a deadline, so that definitely helped.
Like to go back to school or?
Well, no. Like he told me when he wanted to send me to Jordan,
Okay.
and then he kind of left the rest to me. Like you
Okay.
need to figure out how you're gonna navigate through this.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. I feel like, if someone wants to do what we're doing
Mm.
with a separate language or in a different country or anything like that, like I just feel like go for it. Because, I'm 20. How old are you?
30.
30. How fast did that come?
Yeah. Fast.
I'm 24,
Fast. Too
but
fast. Wow.
COVID's 5 years ago.
You're right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Next month.
that's really that's the biggest factor. You want to go do something, know that time is flying, and you better do it now if you have the opportunity to do it. I just think rolling the dice, quitting your job, or know that like saving money, like just do it. Shia LaBeouf, looking back on that video, he was right, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just do it.
You're 30, I'm 24. It's insane how fast time, and that's in our religion too. That is a sign, and it's a pretty scary one at that. So I just think people should be aware that time goes by really fast, and time doesn't wait for you to do anything. And if you really want to do something, you probably should just go and do it.
Amen to
How'd
that.
you quit your job? 2 weeks?
Just did it.
yeah, right.
No, I think I gave him I forget exactly, but I had conversations with, my supervisor and HR, and yeah, my job was.
How long did you give them in advance?
I think I spoke with HR before my supervisor, but I gave him a good amount of time. Like,
dude, I dropped it on him in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks is professional.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But I was like, hey, in 2 weeks, like I'm not even going to be in Florida
For
anymore.
us, it feels like a big thing because we're leaving the country.
Right.
So it's like in 2 weeks, I'm leaving the country. But yeah, I mean, I remember when I knew it was like a couple months before I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. And then I just had to line up different pieces at work and then to prepare to
Was it hard going to work, like already like confirming in your mind that you were leaving?
Well, some of us, we say there's a point where we check out of work.
I checked out as soon as I gave him the 2 weeks.
Oh,
like I was in Jordan,
I would have been a little bit checked out before that. Yeah, I was definitely checked out before that. But I was also like, I'm always very, like I have strong feelings, maybe passion towards like justice or just seeing a healthy work environment. And
sure.
I didn't like my work environment, and I was working to try to.
How come? If you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I was just working to try to benefit. Like it was just, in corporate culture,
which sucks.
There's a big gap between the managers and the workers, and our voice gets heard, but not necessarily acknowledged.
Sure.
And change doesn't happen for us.
Do you have a union?
We didn't have a union, but we probably should have.
All those things suck anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely don't miss that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, we're doing a demanding job, requires a lot of focus, and the understanding of the workers was lost amongst higher ups, and it just, there's so much pressure.
Yeah.
So I understand it, but it's there's no time to work on solutions for mental health of employees.
Sure.
Like this is a hyperbole, but like it's not necessarily like, I'm not saying it's true, but we're treating cancer. But cancer, it's funny because when I graduated from like the training, they gave us this little cell that was a cancer cell. When you flip it inside out, it becomes a healthy cell. So it's like a little trinket, and there is a little card that describes cancer and healthy versus sick cells. And ultimately, it even said in this little card, cancer comes from stress and lifestyle and food and exercise and all these lifestyle factors.
Right.
With maybe then the genetic and this and that, but like it emphasized that, and the lifestyle of the environment from the employees at my company, I felt was creating the stress that would cause something like cancer.
Sure.
Right. And I'm just saying that from a stance of like, just for an idea of like it was stressful, and there's just it's being added on top of day in and day out, and you just had to rest every day just to go back. And also I was on night shift, which I wouldn't recommend to do again. And so that it's hard to like go from a high intense work environment to try to go home, wind down, and go to bed
Absolutely.
to get up and do it the next day with a good night's rest and eating healthy and not staying up late and into those hours where you should be sleeping and resting. And yeah, I mean, it paid well,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were there just for the grind and not for any of the work politics. But it was tough for me to look past that stuff, and to feel like good about my company and my job, because when I started there, I enjoyed it, and we had a good camaraderie, and people worked well together, and we had interactions with management. But once it started changing, then it was just like signs for me of like, hey, like I could go to another job, but it just made me really think like, what do I really want?
Sure.
And I think that's what it was about, is thinking, what do I really want from life?
Sure.
Because we're fortunate and we're blessed in America to have these opportunities, but we have so much opportunity that we get lost in the thoughts.
Absolutely.
And we get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Whereas in the East, just get a job, and family's there, and you have that support, and you have that is your life.
Sure.
In the West is like just your family, and then it's all about career. And you're like, really?
Yeah, all about being an individual and
Yeah.
being able to support yourself once you hit like that certain age. That's definitely like a societal thing I do not like about the States. But inshallah, after spending some time out of America, and whenever you go back, maybe you'll have like a different an outlook to that. And
Yeah, definitely. Now, yeah,
I definitely think spending time here and going back to America whenever we do go back, like I think there's going to be a lot of things that we took from here that will like maybe help us like navigate a better life for us over there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because your priorities change. My priorities have changed being here. Personal priorities. So going back, the choices I make will be based on those values
Yeah, absolutely.
that I've gathered here, as opposed to the ones that the society really put on us. Because I have amazing parents, but when you get thrown into the society and the schools and the environments, and it all has an impact on you, and it gears you towards just being that employee.
Yeah.
And I didn't
Just being a number in the system.
Yeah, I mean, we had shirts at one point with our teams on it, and there were gears on the back.
Right.
Just a cog in the wheel,
Yeah.
cog in the system, and that's what we were, and that's how companies work. But I really started gearing towards more holistic life.
Sure.
Like community and seeing people work together is like, hey, can I borrow your ladder? And I don't need to buy one because there's one for the whole community.
Sure.
Because nobody uses a ladder every day.
Mhm.
And stuff like that. I started gearing towards more things like that.
And being Muslim and living in a Muslim country, like
Yeah,
that
you
is
just
like
heard the adhan.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
that's one of the most beautiful
Every time
sounds.
you walk or you drive around, you see green lights from the masjid, and you hear the adhan.
Yeah,
We don't have that in America.
No, we don't. We don't have the
You know what I
minarets like that. Yeah, that's special. That's very, very special. And that's
I
something
feel
I'll
like
definitely
when we
miss.
leave, whenever we do, it's gonna be like a longing to come back. You know what I mean?
Have you gone back since?
I
You first came.
Yeah, like I came in 2022 for 14 days. Prior to that 2022 trip, I hadn't like the last prior to that 2022 trip was like 2005. So I came here in 2005 when I was
really young.
5.
Yeah.
And then all the way until between 2005 to 2022, that was my entire existence in America. And then that's I was like nervous to come here, and it was a whole humbling experience thing. We went over that, and then I came here for 2 weeks in 2022. It was the best 2 weeks like ever. Amazing. And then I went back, and then it was like I remember talking to my dad when we and him got on the plane and from the airport in Amman. He like as soon as we got on the plane, Baba, when can I come back? Planning the trip to come back, like, you know what I mean? So then that happened, and then I came for another. I came for 3 weeks last January, pretty much a year ago exactly. And then when I came here for 3 weeks, it was like boom. As soon as I got back into the States, I was really wanting to know when I could come back.
Mm.
So that's kind of what pushed me over the edge with like, you know what, I'm done with this
Oh,
job.
oh.
I really don't care like about it.
Mm.
I lost and like all my interest was like
Mm.
gone. And then with the job. And then for me, when I finish studying Arabic, whenever I do go back to America, I have no idea what I'm doing. But it's like,
How's that feel?
yo, it's,
How's that feel?
it's so, and I was, it's funny. I was talking to my mom about this the other day. It's so scary,
Mm.
but at the same time, so cool
Mm.
because I'm just living it day by day now. Like, I don't know what I'm doing
Mm.
in the future, which is so, like, it's so scary. Because, we have responsibilities. I want to get married. I want to have children. Like, I want to be able to do that life. You need money to be able to offer that, But like right now, I'm focusing on Arabic. I'm soaking up every single minute in Jordan with my family and with my friends.
Mm.
And it's like that not knowing what's going to happen is super scary, but also at the same time, like so cool. Because Allahu Alam.
Yeah. You leave Allah's guidance present. Or
Right.
it's more present.
Man, before I came here in 2022, I never would have thought I would be here ever. And it's pretty interesting. Like 3 years, like
One trip,
just in 3 years, boom.
your whole life took a
Yeah, it's
different
different.
direction.
It's different. And the way that I look at life is different now. Prior to coming to Jordan, I never wanted to live outside of America.
Mm.
I was stuck in that, like, we're the best. This is the best. And then I came here and I was like, wait, like,
There's life outside
there's
of America.
things better here in a third world country, because Google will tell you Jordan's a third world country because of the
Desert.
economy and things like that. Like, wait, as an American who grew up in America, coming to a third world country, like, there are things here that we don't have in the States.
Mm.
How?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that.
Mm.
I'm sure when I quit my job, people were scared for me to come here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, I'm scared sometimes to walk in my neighborhood in Orlando. You know what I mean?
That's a big difference.
Yeah, man,
that's a big
coming
difference.
here, it's safe here.
I don't think about safety at all when I'm here.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You could leave your front door unlocked.
Yeah.
It's the American part of us that locks it. But I mean, you can leave that unlocked, and I'm just throwing a figure out here. I would say, like, no one would come into your house.
Mm. If anything, they're gonna come bring you sweets.
Right? Hey, you all right?
I haven't seen you.
We haven't seen you, man. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was super interesting. Like just like hearing all of, and like, unfortunately, I say all of the people, like a lot of people were scared for me to come here.
Mm.
Or like they just don't know.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, man.
They just gotta travel. You gotta get outside the United States, come to the Middle East. I mean, the Middle East is beautiful.
But like think about this though. Like think about being like someone who has like no attachment to this region. Your dad's from this part of the world. My dad's from this part of the world. Like we have an attachment here. But like think about being like your average like person who has no relation to this region of the world. What were they told growing up? What were we told growing up?
Yeah, if I hadn't gone to Syria in 2010, I would be having. I mean, it's hard because we know, but yeah, they were told bad things about this part of the world.
We all were.
Yeah, the rags and deserts, and
we all were.
There's like the joke is like, oh, I heard they're getting close to developing a car over there. Like
absolutely. They think it's camels. Like there are camels here. By the way, it's so cool.
Bro, they have cars here they don't have in America.
Right? Yeah.
Bro, BYD.
All these Chinese cars, dude, and they're legit, man.
And they're not that expensive either. Oh my gosh, those cars are nice.
Yeah.
I wish I could ship one back with me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Those cars are nice, like 10 grand, 15 grand.
But I feel bad for those people, like just that.
Well, so they need to travel. They need to get exposed, and it's the ignorance, unfortunately, and. I think
when I came, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
when I came here in June, and my best friend, his name's Jacob, white, like completely American guy, like no relation to this like part of the world. He, no joke, was like, the only because I was like, yo, Jacob, you trying to come to Jordan with me? And he's my best friend and a very good guy. And he stayed with my family for like 10 days, something like that. But he was the only one, like I'm speaking with confidence here, who was like, I'm ready. A lot of people were like, no, I'm all right, man. Like I'm good. But Jacob, he was so down, and you know, it was so cool about it. It was like he's coming back again in the summer. Like he had
Oh, he did come here with
yeah,
you.
he came in June with me.
Oh,
He stayed with
nice.
my family, and
Nice.
he got to see firsthand all the lies that we were told growing up, because we were
Yeah.
told extensive lies.
Yeah.
And you know, he came here as a white blonde hair dude. You know, a lot of people think like they're gonna kidnap him. Yeah, in America, like you know what I mean?
They're gonna kidnap him to feed him.
Right. Well, you have blonde
And
hair,
give him
blue eyes,
shy.
dude. Like they're gonna like.
We need to host you.
Your family's gonna need to pay a ransom for you.
No.
And then he comes here and he's like, "Oh my God, he's coming back." You know,
That's
inshallah,
awesome.
he's coming back in June, and it's like, how could you not have a good time here?
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful country.
But then again, it comes back to taking the leap of
Wadi
faith. You know what I mean?
Rum and Petra, if people are into that. I mean, Wadi Rum's probably my favorite place.
Petra, one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Yeah, one of the 7. Yeah. It's amazing to see it. Yeah, it's
And not only that,
amazing to see it.
and like you know, like the history that Jordan and Palestine and Syria, you know, like this region of the world. We're in Jordan, so I'll speak on Jordan. But like, you know, the Romans were here, the Greeks were here. You see that here today.
Absolutely.
Go to Jadash. You can touch something that's 3,000 years old. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it.
And that's amazing, man. You see, you know, like the Roman amphitheaters, and like there is a history here that's unlike anything that I've ever seen, and I appreciate it very much, and I love it.
Yeah, I know you like history, so
Yeah. America doesn't really have, you know,
and the national parks.
like the national parks.
I mean,
but like
unfortunately, the history is.
it's just not old.
Yeah. In terms of
It's
that,
not old.
it's
If
not
you
like,
go to Boston,
not
you
like
maybe see
3,000
something that's
years
like
old.
200 years old or something.
I
You know
know
what I
what you
mean?
mean. Yeah, dude, Roman theater down in
man.
West Al Beled.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a sight to see. The first time I saw it, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's like Petra. I think when you Google it, like how old is Petra? Like it says, Google will tell you like Petra was founded 2,300 years ago.
Probably how long? How before they excavated it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
2000. Well, not only that, like you know, it's like I don't know the percentage. I don't want to throw out like a number that's not correct, but like a whole lot of the architecture in the city of Petra, it's like underground. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I think because they keep finding new.
Like Petra, the thing that people go to and see, there's like 2 stories of it under the ground.
Okay. Yeah, because I think last year they found more.
Yeah,
Yeah, they found more.
Which is insane. Because already when you go to it now, it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Jordan. I think Jordan is one of the places that a lot of Westerners do know of and they feel comfortable visiting.
Sure.
But yeah, this whole region of the world is just highly underrated and unknown.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, I think it's just about traveling more. People just need to travel more.
Absolutely.
Especially if I'm speak to young Muslims that are growing up in America, they should really get out, get to the Middle East, see some of the history of the religion specifically.
Go see a country where the deen, the religion, is being like practiced in full effect. You know, like that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Just being able to hear the adhan, you know what I'm saying? That's something that's huge. And that was something that, like, when I first came here, like, for hearing that for the first time, outside of a screen on my phone, like, hearing that in person was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we got Ramadan coming up soon.
Yeah, well, I think like a week exactly.
Yeah, we'll get to experience Ramadan here as well.
This is your first Ramadan outside of America, right?
Alhamdulillah, I've been outside of America for Ramadan before. I was in Kuwait for Ramadan.
Oh, dope, man.
Yeah, and then I think that might have been the only one. I don't think I was in Syria during Ramadan. Yeah. So I did it once before.
Tarawneh. Yeah, it's gonna be really nice.
Inshallah.
It's my first time.
Oh, it will be. Okay.
Yeah. My first time in a Muslim country during Ramadan.
Okay, nice. Mashallah. If that's not enough for people to just see, like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it to do something like this. And I think a lot of people, when you get really locked into your job and what's comfortable, and you just start adding more and more justifications in to stay. But like, you know, you talked about that leap, and look at what has happened as a result.
And you know, I'll touch up on something else. Another thing, I know a lot of people here who uh, there are universities here that when you graduate or when you're near graduating, you can go and spend like a year in Germany as like a foreign exchange student. I've spoke with plenty of people who grew up in Jordan who went to Germany and wanted nothing but to leave Germany and come back to Jordan. And you're talking about the West, like going to Germany and these big, tall, high-rise buildings and this, you know, and a better economy. And, you know, wait, they want to come back, you know? And I don't blame them, because I know as soon as I go back to America to try to, like, you know, get the gears rolling to, like, you know, find a job and get money so I can have these things that I want, I'm going to want to come back here. That's why I know I'm gonna buy a house here, inshallah.
Inshallah, bro. Tawfiq, yeah. May Allah make it happen. You got the right intention, and I think it'll be good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know about Jordan for me, but maybe Syria.
No, but hey,
it's back. Yeah.
but
no, Jordan's nice.
No, nice. But like,
it's just it's being here in the Middle East, being in that culture, being in that Muslim family. That's awesome that
Jordan,
you figured it
Syria,
out so
Palestine,
quickly.
like, what, you know, Jordan for me is because my dad's from dad's from Jordan. My family are Jordanian, and I'm Jordanian, so it would make sense for you to go to Syria. But it's this region.
It's
idea. This region. You know what I mean? It's bigger than one country. It's this region of the world that is so beautiful. And we were told we were told a bunch of lies about it growing up.
Yeah.
Coming here has been the coolest thing I've ever done. And I'd recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Quit your job, go. Or, you know, take a 2-week vacation.
At least 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can take a 2-week vacation, go to Jordan, see it. It's dope.
Well, you guys heard it here first.
Yeah, man.
Bro,
I recommend it.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, man. It was cool.
Hopefully we can have another one sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time at the farm, inshallah.
Inshallah. That's right. Yeah. I guess we got to check out your farm.
Definitely.
That'll be a good video.
Sweet. We could talk about, you know,
but
philosophy or something. You know what I mean?
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, man.
We'll see where it goes. Any last words for the people?
I appreciate it.
No, thank you. I appreciate you for being on.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. All righty. Assalamu alaikum.